we are talking about the balance between independence and needing help. And you may think that I am mostly talking about aging adults and aging parents, but we're actually also talking about caregivers. The balance between independence and thinking that you can do it all and that you want to do it all, and the difference between needing a little bit of help. I'm Pamela D. Wilson. My website is pameladwilson.com. In this video post, there's a link to the support page on my website. Caregiving involves time. And many times we are so rushed that sometimes we do things and we have to do it over again. So as caregivers, as aging adults, do we want to make caregiving much like what I call a home repair project? We were laughing about this the other day, saying, when you have something that breaks at home, you think that you can fix it. And sometimes it turns out to be that it was an easy fix. Other times, a home repair project can turn out to be this nightmare situation where you find one little problem and then there's another problem and it turns into like 20 more problems, and then you realize that you need to hire an electrician or a plumber or somebody else to fix that little problem that you thought was going to be very easy to fix. Caregiving can be a lot like that. Caregivers tell me that there's never enough time. Not only not enough time for themselves, but not enough time with doctors. You go to a doctor appointment and you're in and out in 15 minutes because the doctors are so rushed and so stacked with appointments that sometimes you go and you don't even get your questions answered. Caregivers also will tell me that they feel like the healthcare system just isn't interested in the caregiver. They're more interested in the person who needs care, which is logical. But caregivers also need time and attention. Now, here's why that doesn't happen. Doctors are rushed for medical appointments. Other healthcare providers, whether it's an insurance company or a nurse in your doctor's office, sometimes even a pharmacist, they have so much to do. And their jobs are very narrow. So a doctor's job really is healthcare and diagnosis and treatment. It's not really managing caregiver stress or caregiver depression. And the problem there is there's a little bit of risk if a doctor asks a caregiver, "How are you doing?" And the caregiver says, "Oh my gosh, I am so depressed. I am so stressed. I don't know how I can continue to do this." Well, doctors are bound by ethics. Doctors and a lot of medical providers are also bound by reporting laws. If a caregiver says to someone, "I don't think I can continue to do this. I feel like I'm depressed. I'm thinking of committing suicide," that may have to be reported to someone else. So there's all of these situations where caregivers need help, and the person that they're talking to in that conversation may not be the right person to give help. A lot of people who are new to caregiving think that they are just helping out an elderly parent, and you are. But not realizing the next thing that could happen and the next thing and the next thing places you and your aging parent or grandparent or spouse in a difficult situation of being faced with all of these unexpected issues and not knowing what to do. It's important as a caregiver, and I know caregivers don't like to use the word help, but find help, find resources, get education so that you can prevent all of these unexpected things from happening. The flip side of that, caregivers will say, "Well, I think I can do this by myself." I've had so many caregivers who came to me after 6 months or a year, and they said, "Oh, I should have been here before." And I would ask, "Well, why did you wait?" And they said, "Well, it wasn't that bad until right now. Now the situation is really bad. It's horrible. I can't manage it." If we seek education or support before caregiving gets really bad, caregiving doesn't have to get really bad. That's the point. In many situations, caregivers are worried about being judged by other people, judged by family members, judged by healthcare professionals for not doing enough, for not doing a really good job. I will tell you that a good professional will never judge a caregiver, especially a professional who has been in your shoes. Now, if you're talking to someone who has never been a caregiver, you're probably not going to get a lot of empathy and a lot of understanding because they have no idea what you're talking about. I do. I've been there. I've been doing this for 20 years. So, as caregivers, rather than feeling like you might be judged by someone, find a person that you know who won't judge. Find a caregiver support group that you know who won't judge. Find someone like myself who offers caregiver education who won't judge because we've been where you are. Someone posted something this morning about caregivers being essential workers. Caregivers are definitely essential workers, and this includes family caregivers who, without us, parents, spouses, other people, wouldn't be doing as well as they are today. Families rely on family caregivers to do a lot of things, which is why caregivers get overwhelmed and depressed. Seek support. Join a caregiver support group, take a caregiver class. There's plenty of information on my website at PamelaDWilson.com. Have a fabulous day today, all of you caregivers, family caregivers, professional caregivers, anybody in the healthcare field who are out there and who are what we call our essential caregiving workers. I'll see you again soon in another video. Please share this with other people you know who are looking for hope, help, and support.